When we talk about diet and NAD+ for brain health, we need to think in terms of decades, not days or weeks. NAD+ balance in your brain right now reflects your entire metabolic history, years and years of nutritional inputs, inflammatory exposures, oxidative stress, and cellular damage. You cannot undo decades of suboptimal nutrition with a month of eating well, but you also cannot destroy a lifetime of good nutrition with a few weeks of poor eating. This is fundamentally about patterns over time. The research that shows the strongest associations between diet and cognitive health looks at dietary patterns, not individual foods or nutrients in isolation. The Mediterranean diet, for example, has been studied extensively and consistently shows protective effects against cognitive decline. This diet pattern emphasizes fish, olive oil, nuts, whole grains, legumes, fruits, and vegetables while limiting red meat and processed foods. It naturally provides many of the nutrients and compounds we've discussed that support NAD+ metabolism. But here's what's important to understand. The people who benefit most from Mediterranean-style eating are those who have followed it for years or decades, often their entire lives. Studies of people who switch to a Mediterranean diet in their 60s or 70s show some benefits, but they're generally more modest than what's seen in people who have eaten this way lifelong. This suggests that the protective effects accumulate over time through sustained metabolic support. The same principle applies to NAD+ specifically. Your NAD+ levels today reflect not just what you ate this week, but your lifetime pattern of NAD+ synthesis, utilization, and degradation. If you've spent decades with inadequate protein intake, chronic inflammation from a poor diet, repeated blood sugar spikes from excessive refined carbohydrates, and insufficient intake of NAD+ precursors, your cellular machinery for NAD+ metabolism may be compromised in ways that are difficult to fully reverse. This is both discouraging and encouraging. It's discouraging because it means that if you've eaten poorly for most of your life, switching to a brain-healthy diet late in life may have limited impact on outcomes like Alzheimer's risk. The damage may already be done, the metabolic dysfunction too entrenched. But it's encouraging because it means that consistent, long-term healthy eating from early adulthood through middle age can build metabolic resilience that provides protection in later life when NAD+ naturally declines and disease risk increases. There's also the issue of consistency versus perfection. A dietary pattern that you can maintain for decades, even if it's not perfect, is probably more valuable than a theoretically optimal diet that you can only sustain for a few months before burning out. The Mediterranean diet works partly because it's actually enjoyable. People can stick with it. It's not a restrictive elimination diet or a rigid protocol. It's a flexible pattern built around real food and cultural traditions that have sustained populations for generations. What derails long-term dietary patterns? Often it's all-or-nothing thinking. People try to completely overhaul their diet overnight, they can't sustain it, and they give up entirely and go back to eating poorly. A more effective approach for most people is gradual improvement, adding more of the beneficial foods we've discussed while slowly reducing the problematic ones. This builds sustainable habits that can last for years. Another factor is life circumstances. Dietary patterns change with retirement, loss of a spouse, reduced mobility, financial constraints, or health problems that affect appetite or ability to shop and cook. For older adults, maintaining a brain-healthy diet often requires planning and support. This is where family involvement, community resources, or professional nutritional guidance can make a real difference. The research on NAD+ and aging suggests that the time to start supporting NAD+ metabolism is not when you're diagnosed with cognitive impairment. It's in your 40s, 50s, and 60s, when NAD+ is beginning to decline but before major pathology has developed. This is when dietary patterns that support NAD+ synthesis and reduce unnecessary depletion can potentially have maximum impact on maintaining brain resilience. But even for older adults with some cognitive decline, improving diet is not futile. Better nutrition can support whatever brain function remains, improve overall health and quality of life, and potentially slow further decline even if it can't reverse existing damage. The brain retains some plasticity and adaptive capacity even in older age, and providing better nutritional support gives it the best chance to use that capacity. The bottom line is that brain health, like NAD plus metabolism, is built over a lifetime. There are no shortcuts and no magic bullets. What matters is the cumulative impact of thousands of meals over decades, creating a metabolic environment that either supports or undermines the brain's extraordinary energy demands.